We continue our working day, colleagues. Colonel Andriy Lysenko will inform us about the situation in the ATO zone. Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. The events during the last 24 hours in ATO zone in Mariupolsky direction, the military actions were conducted mostly in Shirokin and Vodene settlements because the enemy was using mortars to shell at our positions. The forces of ATO opened the fire in response. In the next direction, there is still the trend to expand geography of military actions. Besides artillery and tank shellings at our positions near Donetsk airport, the militants are active to the south, next to the settlement Granitne, and to the north of Avdiivka, where previously the ceasefire was not violated often. Near Troitsky settlement, there was a military clash between Ukrainian unit and the diversive group of militants. The army support came to help the bodyguards. Thanks to the coordinated efforts of the ATO forces, 2 militants were killed, the rest withdrew. Withdrawing, the militants left their weapons. The grenade launcher RPG-7B, besides the enemy, did several army provocations using these firearms near Gorlivka. It's in the settlement Lugansk and Leninsk. In Lugansk direction, the situation is the most quiet. There were just some shellings using mostly small arms near Bakhmutsky highway, mostly near Novotashkivsky settlement and Zolote, and also Popasna and Shastya. And there were no facts of use of grenades and tanks. They are registered. During the last 24 hours in the ATO zone, 9 flights of drones were registered also. We do not have any servicemen killed during the 24 hours, but 10 are wounded, mostly during the battle near Troitsky settlement. Ukraine is observing international humanitarian law. Yesterday, 2 Russian servicemen who were detained near Shastya on the 16th of May. Both of them were operated in Kievsky military hospital now after the surgery. Both of them, Yerofeev and Alexandrov, are in satisfactory condition. A little later we will inform about their health condition via mass media. Novodarsky district of Lugansk region, the local citizen voluntarily gave to law enforcers the tank, machine gun Kalashnikov, 7 grenade launchers, 7 grenades, and a huge number of cartridges of 7.62 millimeter calibers. We would like to remind that according to the law, the citizen will be not made criminally responsible for illegal storage of the weapons and cartridges because he gave it voluntarily. In accordance to the criminal code of Ukraine, the high treason, the actions which were made by the citizen of Ukraine to harm the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the security of Ukraine, movement to the side of the enemy, espionage, and so on, is punished by imprisonment to the term from 12 to 15 years. In Chernigov Oblast region, there is a military training of recruited servicemen going on. At the test field, one of the newly formed units of operational commandership North Pivnich is being trained. Also in Chernigiv region, the military taught the basics of tactical medicine. The training is organized according to the comprehensive program which is used in the armies of the country members of NATO. Thanks to the experienced trainers, the military learned how to provide first emergency medical assistance to themselves or to wounded comrade. In Lugansk region, there were also medical trainings organized. The instructors are highly experienced volunteers. The educational training work with the paratroopers was based on the comprehensive NATO program's combat medicine and practical experience of work in hot points of the world. And in the ATO zone, all the personnel had training according to the protocols. Red zone assistance under shelling, yellow zone assistance in the zones of shelter, and green zone assistance in the zone of military hospital. In the practical training, the means of sound imitation were used to so that in order to get the effect which would be maximum close to real battle. Fresh units of the servicemen are going to replace their colleagues at the front line. The law enforcers will be also executing their tasks on defending and protecting order, protecting population and the state, and the counteraction to terrorism. Also, the law enforcers and special purpose units from Sumy region are going to replace in Donbass their colleagues. For most of them, that is not the first trip to ATO zone, but law enforcers are ready to defend their motherland, and they made the decision to go to the east themselves. The Ukrainian volunteers continue to help our military. Soon to one of the military units where the servicemen are dislocated who were fighting in ATO zone. To this military unit, the Ukrainian Patriots arrived. The volunteers gave to them some of the ammunition and clothing. The armed forces of Ukraine thank volunteers for their assistance. Also, our servicemen received from volunteers the elements of the equipment, the medical kits, optical devices, and the masking nets. Ukraine organizes humanitarian assistance to occupied territory via the control post Novaya Dar. 6 trucks with humanitarian cargo went with the products, food products, the hygienic means from the Red Cross Society in Ukraine. Thank you. Any questions to the Colonel? Do you need to clarify anything?
Киевские новости. With the detention of an officer and a sergeant of the Russian army, whether it is planned to demonstrate this problem to the Western journalists and community, and do you believe this will be efficient? The fact that they were detained was informed to the journalists, including Western journalists, and also as well as the fact that they have had documents of the Russian army, and the investigation continues. We have proofs and evidences that that they were detained when carrying out their combat tasks, and they were involved to the war crime because our serviceman was killed in that fighting in that combat. And I believe that the international community now can be sure that the Russian Federation is very much interested to raise combat capacity of the militants, mercenaries, and subverters, and send them to Ukraine. The experts carried out preliminary analysis of the situation in the east of Ukraine, and there is a preliminary calculation that Russian Federation allocates approximately 10 million rubles per month, while the biggest unit, the biggest territorial unit in the Russian Federation, receives only 8 million rubles per month. In the future, we will see how long Russia will stand this tension, and the president of Ukraine does everything possible and contributes much effort to attract the attention of the international community to the fact that the war in Donbass is actually maintained by the leaders from Kremlin, and this aggressive step on behalf of Russia to Ukraine was again proved by the detention of these two officers from the special forces of Russia. One more question. I'm Alexei Koval, Phoenix Television. My question is as follows. This is not the first case when the Russian servicemen were detained in the territory of Ukraine. There are rumors or information that there are several dozens of Russian soldiers. Why we are demonstrating and attracting attention to just these two soldiers? This will be SBU who will respond in more detail to your question. The first 10 Russian soldiers which were detained in the territory of Ukraine, they all held press conference. 9 of them held press conference in the past because the 10th was wounded hardly, and they explained that they lost their way during military exercises and occasionally across the border. While now, in this case, with these two soldiers, we can easily prove that they were not just militiamen from Lugansk Oblast, that they were specially trained, specially prepared, and got a very clear task to cross the border and carry out their task, and they were detained by the border service of Ukraine. Thank you very much. Our next briefing will be at 2